The Trump administration has a new face for its immigration crackdown. Greg Bovino, the Border Patrol agent leading the White House's controversial operation in Chicago.
We'll never be defeated.
The White House making him a star of their social media push in Hollywood-style movie posters and heavily edited EDM blasting mashups put out by the Department of Homeland Security. That video, the latest repurposed media facing blowback in the battle for the public's attention, after an online outlet says DHS jacked its footage for its, quote, latest propaganda video and filed a copyright takedown. In Chicago, Bovino's tactics sparking backlash from locals and politicians after he implied that agents were searching for suspected migrants based on physical traits.
Then obviously the particular characteristics of an individual, how they look.
And a federal judge calling out his team's use of tear gas in residential neighborhoods, most recently while children were walking to a Halloween parade. Bovino himself seen on camera appearing to throw tear gas here. DHS saying in that instance, Bovino was responding after being hit in the head with a rock, an account bystanders dispute. He previously defended its use of tear gas across the city, arguing agents were under threat. The judge saying it was difficult for her to see why that level of force was necessary, mandating Bovino and the Border Patrol wear and use body cameras. So what's behind Bovino's quick rise to center stage? He's not one of the Border Patrol's top leaders in Washington, leading a relatively quiet sector in Eastern California. Starting during the Biden administration, Bovino making himself seen and heard, posting provocative, highly produced videos of border agents in the field. When the Trump administration ramped up immigration arrests in L.A. earlier this year, Bovino was the man they turned to. His tactics there also drawing criticism, including the use of a Trojan horse Penske rental truck to lure in day laborers waiting at an L.A. Home Depot. After that operation, the New York Times reporting, citing emails not reviewed by NBC News, that a U.S. attorney told Bovino that he needed to comply with a court order limiting agents from that kind of profiling. Bovino telling the Times the email, quote, revealed a bias against law enforcement. And a Supreme Court decision since that operation is allowing such targeting. The New York Times reporting the U.S. attorney was quickly removed by the Trump administration and has since been hired by California Governor Gavin Newsom. Now Bovino earning the title Commander-at-Large from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and representing the agency in nationally televised interviews.
We're not prosecuting anyone instead of other than those people that should not be here.
For Greg Bovino, clashes on American streets landing him in the spotlight.
Julia is joining us now here in Washington. So commander at large, right?
Yeah.
What is that? Because he's got people that rank higher above him in Border Patrol.
Absolutely. So this is a new term that the Secretary of Homeland Security is coming up with to describe Bovino. What you're seeing here, Hallie, and why he's so important is it shows that the White House is favoring and really blessing these tactics, these more aggressive tactics. We understand he no longer reports to the Chief of Border Patrol and then the Commissioner of CBP, as would be the normal chain of command.
He no longer is in that
He's reporting directly to Secretary Noem. He's also been working with Corey Lewandowski, who's one of her advisors, to come up with ICE officials who he thinks should be replaced by Border Patrol officials.
Julia Ainsley, plenty for you to watch on your beat. Thank you very much for bringing us that story. Appreciate it. NBC News covers hundreds of other stories every day, and because it can be tough to read.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.